All right, let's see. This incredible afternoon, everyone. Incredible afternoon. How are you guys doing? All right, I have to pull up. I don't think I can do it over here. I can't. I'm going to go to my desk real quick. All right, 1 second. All right, we are all shared out. Okay, I had to go and share. Hello, hello, incredible evening. Okay, wait a minute. Someone says they're not getting any sound. Can you guys hear me? Uh-oh, hold on. Not used to it not being sound on. Hold on. I wasn't in the room before, so it's probably why it was quiet. I had to go to my to my computer to share. Um, mic check, 1 2 1 2. Do you hear me? Making sure that you guys can hear me. Ink. Okay, I don't know if it is. Okay, you guys can hear me. Awesome. All righty, so we are going to do yet another sublimation tumbler tutorial. All right. I have to redo this one. I'm gonna either keep this one or sell it to them at a oops price, but it messed up in the back. I'm pretty sure her aunt won't mind paying for it, like an oopsie one. But yeah, I felt when I wrapped it, it wasn't that tight, but I was like, we'll see. And something told me to go ahead and wrap the whole thing with heat tape, but I did not. Last night I was on TikTok live and I did a bunch of these. You're also going to see me do this because the name of the school didn't print because I had to make some adjustments, and then the name of the school didn't print on here. So I had to cut it from vinyl so I can put it back. So I have to do that one. So I'm remaking a tumbler, and then I am like this one, it had some of her prom pictures on it. So we're going to do this one as well. Okay. This one I misprinted because it has gray on the ends. So we're going to do 3 tumblers, and then this is for a client who's coming to pick up this print, but I might do it. I don't actually know. I'm just going to cut it because I printed it with this one because I had to print out anyway. So I just printed it on this sheet, but this one is for a client. We do prints, and he comes to buy prints and pick them up and makes the tumblers himself. So we're going to cut this one down, but I'm going to go through my process for the 2 tumblers on, how most times that one over there, like I said, I felt the fact that it was loose, yet I still kept going, and I was like, oh, well, we'll see. And I should have went with my first instinct in my first mind to wrap the whole thing, but I did it my standard way. And of course, that wasn't the smartest idea because it ended up ghosting on this seam. But usually I don't have any ghosting on the seams. I'm going to show you the other ones. And I use the same technique for all of these. Although last night I was being lazy and I did not go to get my heat tape and I used my masking tape, but it's pretty much the same thing. But as you can see here, so no ghosting on that seam, no ghosting at the top or the bottom. Same thing with this one. All black. The seam is there. There's another one that is primarily black. And then, of course, we have this one, but we did have some ghosting on the seam at the top. But I knew that when I was wrapping it. So, like I said, we're going to go ahead and do this. If you've seen me do tumblers, nothing new, nothing different, but you never know who is new. I never know who's new to doing tumblers, who may need this. Maybe you didn't see my other video. You haven't gotten a chance to kind of go through all of our content to see, the ones that I have done before. So we're going to go through the process again. If, you just want to watch and enjoy because you have perfected them by watching our process, or if you are new, welcome in. I am Shakia, the professor of HS Ink 365. We are the home of the Honestly Speaking brand of products. We carry sublimation ink, sublimation paper. With your flatbed heat press, our paper allows you to sublimate as low as 365 degrees, as fast as 30 seconds. And then with these tumblers, I am going to do them in the oven. It is my preferred method. Last night I did, I want to say 7 in the oven, all in 5 minutes is how long it took to do those. So I like it because you can get more done. Like I can put all of them in the oven at the same time. So I know some people use a tumbler press and they'll say they'll do like a minute per tumbler, with also, of course, with the prep time and stuff like that. But some people are able to do, they said, well, it's actually not a minute per tumbler. It's what, like, I think they do like a minute or 45 seconds and then they turn it. So no, whatever your method is, if it works for you, great. I am not saying that this is the only way to make tumblers and everyone should be doing it this way. But as an instructor and a trainer in these things, this is the way that I prefer to do them. And it works out well for me in doing it this way. And, it doesn't hurt to try it. If it doesn't work for you, then, and your other way works, you can definitely go back to whichever method you use. So the supplies that you are going to need, I'm going to use this because it's messed up. But the supplies that you're going to need, it's going to be, of course, your sublimation prints, preferably printed with Honestly Speaking sublimation ink and paper, which you can get on our website, shop.hsinc365. You're going to need heat tape, or you can use just regular masking tape, which is back there somewhere, because that's what I did these with last night. And the other size heat tape, I like to use 2-inch. I mean, you can use a 3-inch, but I like to use 2. Some people will still use like the 1/2 inch or the 1-inch. And I'm pretty sure like with the 1-inch, you can still use it because you can fold it over. I just like, the security of like having the 2-inch. So I prefer to use this because then I can use my 1-inch for other projects. So if you just spread the love out amongst heat tape, which we do carry 1/2 inch all the way up to 6 inches for the heat tape. Oops, I find that my heat tapes just last longer. And then painter's tape. This is a Scotch brand, but I normally use the one from the Dollar Tree. I actually ran out last night, or realized my spools that I had left, they were empty last night. Oh, they were finished. So I have to go today to go get some more painter's tape. So we're going to use this heat tape, well, the thick heat tape, and this heat tape for the seams, of course, a ruler and a straight blade, or you can use a rotary cutter. Those work well also because you can keep it really close to the edge of the ruler and just go straight up. So just some type of straight cutter that you can use with your ruler is what you're going to need. All right. So who here does tumblers? Like, you are already doing sublimation tumblers. I see someone that says they struggle with black tumblers. What is it? Is it that you get ghosting when you're doing black tumblers? Are you using Honestly Speaking products when you're doing them? And what method do you use? Do you use a tumbler press? Do you use an oven? If you use an oven, is it with just tape? Do you use shrink wrap? What is your method when you are doing your tumbler? Well, like your black tumblers or dark color tumblers. So while I wait for you guys to respond to that, the tumblers that I am going to use today came from Johnson's Plastics Plus. They are the 20-ounce white stainless steel tumblers. You get a really nice edge on the bottom. So I love these tumblers. I love the fact that they now come in these really large boxes, and the straw can actually fit inside the box. And there is a code 9PKD6 that will get you 15% off of your order. I actually just ordered 6 more cases of the tumbler, so I really like these tumblers. All right. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get started. I just want to make sure you guys can still hear me, correct? I don't see. So drop peacocks if you can hear me. I'm used to a few more comments than this and people just kind of saying hello and things like that, but I'm not seeing them right now. So if you can hear me, drop those peacocks. And then I ask the question, unless it's like really, really delayed. Let's open up this so that I can see. I'm sorry, open, StreamYard, try again. Stop cam, mute, enter studio. Okay. All right, so I see the peacocks. I do tumblers, oven tape, only 6 minutes, then turn for a minute, never black though. Okay. All right. So for me, I put them in the oven for 4 minutes. And I don't turn them or anything like that. But I use also a large oven now. When I was doing it in the smaller convection, I had we have an Oster XL at home. And when I use that one, it would be I don't preheat when I do that one. So I would do about 5.5 minutes because I don't preheat that particular oven. And I put them in there and I still don't really turn it. As of late, I would say actually I had to turn it the last couple times I did it there, because I think from the kids just using it, the seal isn't that great on that one. So with the air and the heat fluctuating, I ended up having to kind of turn it go in and turn it just once towards the end. But normally I don't have to turn the tumblers. But in this one, nice, good seal, because I'm using you're going to see a regular oven, regular range oven. And of course, it has a good seal, so it's keeping that heat inside, so I don't ever have to rotate it or anything like that, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. If you have any questions along the way, please feel free to go ahead and drop them as a comment. I love answering questions. It's like the best part of what I do, being able to actually teach and instruct. And in order to teach, you kind of have to, you're asking questions. So teaching is not just me showing you my technique. That's a tutorial. I like to teach. I like to train. So the more questions you guys ask, the more this is going to be helpful and beneficial to you to be able to go and take notes from and get better and better and better with your tumblers if you are struggling with them, okay? All right, so all right, so hold on, we got a few questions here. How do you get your photos to look like the photo and not red and orange color? So I guarantee, Lisa, you are using an EcoTank printer. Let me know if I am correct. Are you using an EcoTank printer that's converted? Yes, we actually still cook in this oven. We don't cook in it every day because now this is more so just our workspace, but for big meals and stuff, we do still come here and cook. All right. So when you have your print, typically I'm printing on a, oh no, you have a 7710 and you're having red faces, then with a Mac. What print setting are you using? Are you like whatever ink you're using? Did they tell you to use a color profile? That's kind of interesting. Oh, wow. I wasn't expecting for you to say a 7710 because normally with those printers, that's where you get the best color, as long as you're using a really good ink that doesn't have issues, like it's really formulated for that particular printer. And then based off of your settings. So you're using our ink, okay? And what settings are you using? I'm not sure if it's a Mac thing. I never have issues with the faces looking reddish, like overly reddish. So this is how this one came out. And then here is this one. As far as pictures, I use Adobe RGB Gamma 1.8. Are you using premium matte? So you're using our ink, but are you using our paper as well? All right. So I typically, sometimes if you're just doing one or two, you'll print it on 8.5 by 11 or 8.5 by 14-inch paper. Of course, when I have multiple orders, I'm printing them on 11 by 17. That way I can fit 2 templates on there at one time, and you save a little bit by doing it that way in time, the way the ink kind of outputs, and then of course the cost of one sheet of 11 by 17 versus one sheet of 8.5 by 11. So you are going to save doing it that way. When I put them on my sheet, I like to have it push kind of toward the side so that I have like my little bit of overlap here. And this is the side that I'm going to cut down so that, it's the side that has the majority of the extra paper. So this side, we're not going to cut down. Some people do the method and they cut all 4 sides down. That just adds to the time that it takes to kind of do this. So all I cut down is one side. I do trim it, but once it's on the tumbler. So I don't, because some people cut it down and they still have to trim it on the tumbler. So I just trim down one side and wrap it around the tumbler, and then I'll do any trimming that I need to do after that, okay? Yeah, so let me know what settings you're using because, yeah. So someone says, any tips for black tumblers? I do the exact same thing that you see me do here is the exact same thing that I do with this. I don't do anything different. I wrap them the exact same way. They sit in the oven for the exact same amount of time, especially with the bigger oven. If I was doing my smaller one, maybe I would probably leave it in for like an extra 20, 30 seconds, if that. But for the most part, I do them the exact same way. I don't do anything different. So I don't really have any special tips for black tumblers because, like I said, I do them the exact same way. I have problems with my measurements and settings. I use the Stargrass, I'm guessing 500, and the F570. Okay, you are using those to print from, but what program are you using to design in? So recently, wait, so I've recently messed up two tumblers from ghosting on the top and bottom, and I've done a couple and they came out perfect. So I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong. Are you using an oven or a tumbler press? And mistakes happen. Like I said, I felt this one, and I'm like, when I took my hand around it, I felt the paper kind of moving, and I should have just like unwrapped it and redid it. But it happens to us. So this one, I had some ghosting on the seam and a little bit at the top, like right here. So it's not necessarily on this side of it, but on the back where the seam is, I had some ghosting. The bottom looks amazing. It's just the seam and then from here to here. So it still happens. Yes, you can use our paper with other inks. It will still sublimate at 365 degrees, 30 seconds, because that's the power of the paper, not the ink. But the ink gives you better color output when you're using workforce printers. Do you use shrink wrap? No, I do not use shrink wrap at all. You're about to see my full process, so stick around and you'll get to see the entire process. New to all of this, looking forward to watching your tutorial. Awesome. Welcome to the world of sublimation. If you haven't tried out our ink and paper, definitely visit the website, shop at hsink365.com. Okay, so Adobe RGB, vendor match color, mirror, no high speed, and you print from Photoshop. All right, so I would have to kind of go over. So vendor match, I don't think that's how mine is set up. And Macs are a little bit different. I did do a video just kind of showing my settings. I don't think it says vendor match. I have to be on the safe side. And then it's also like the color profile that you're using. Like, does it say RGB? I use Epson IJ07. So you're like, even though it's like, it can be considered a default, but that RGB one could be what's affecting it. So on that one, like look and see what that is. I use the Epson IJ07 profile. So if you're doing it in Silhouette Studio, we're not Design Space. That's the mother folk, but in Silhouette Studio, the only thing I can say is to book a one-on-one so that I can actually see your screen, what you're doing, how you're setting it up, how you're sending it to print. Are you putting scaling when you're going to do your print settings? So that is something that I would really like. I would recommend booking a one-on-one session so we can go through that and get that corrected for you. I see you have whites on that black tumbler. What printer are you using? So the tumbler itself is white. So whenever you see something done like this, you're not printing on or you're not doing something on a black tumbler. This whole print, the same way this is printed out, it was just black and it had this design on it. So of course, white doesn't print. So once you wrap it, you're going to see the white, like this is the original tumbler that you're seeing through this. So the tumbler itself was not black. It started off as white and we wrap the paper around it. And so of course it floods the color with black and then you have your colors. So you're going to see that with this also with some of those white areas. If you guys, I mean, I know even if you're not someone that wants to be an influencer or you want to kind of do tutorials, I do recommend just kind of having your phone out, recording a couple of times when you're doing them, because it might be just the smallest thing that you may have missed from doing one to the other. And in your mind, it's like, okay, yeah, I'm doing the same thing over and over again. Yeah, like this one. I do the same thing, same technique, but it wasn't the same results. Or like when I put my hand around it, I felt it and I was like, okay, let me just put like one little piece of tape around it to try and make it like where it was tight to the tumbler. And then I had this. So it might be that you, in your mind, you're like, okay, I feel like I'm doing the same thing, the exact same thing, but some are good, some are not. Record yourself. Even if you don't plan to post it to TikTok or Instagram or Facebook or YouTube, record yourself so that you can see and make sure that you are actually doing the same thing and the same techniques every single time. Yes, I use painter's tape and heat tape. Are you using a Mac or are you printing? Oh yeah, that was the one from Photoshop. Yeah, I'm not sure then. That's probably your issue. I would recommend that you book a one-on-one session as well so we can take a look at, I can actually be on Zoom, do a screen share, and I can look at your screen. Um, So what you do is, I don't really send like my availability. You go on the website, you book a one-on-one session, and then it says on there to email the professor at hsinc365.com, and you will give me at least 2 or 3 dates and time. Like it can be the same day. Like, okay, let's say Friday, and just put like, okay, you're available from 12 to 2, and I would, pick one of those times. Like I'll check my schedule, what I have going on, and then I will send you a message, say, okay, hey, I'm gonna schedule for this time, and I'll send you the Zoom link. So my availability is always all over the place because I'm on calls. People will come here, to pick up orders, and they want to talk and this, that, and the third. So I recommend that you book it, and then the instructions on there says to email the professor at hsinc365.com with 2 or 3 times that you are available. And she says everything is content. Not everyone wants to create content, though. Not everyone wants to be a content creator, and that's okay. You have to book a one-on-one session. Come on, book them. All right. All right. So let's get into this. Right. We've talked enough. So, like I said, I'm going to cut down one side to make sure that you don't have any white. The template is designed to where you are going to have some overlap. There will be some overlap of this color on this side once it's wrapped around the tumbler. Okay. So when you're cutting this side off, you want to make sure that there is no white. So when you're cutting it, I don't recommend using scissors because your hands can be kind of like, I'm skilled with scissors, and I still don't like cutting it with scissors because I don't want it to be like off. I rather it just be like a straight line. So I highly recommend using a ruler and some sort of straight blade or rotary cutter. What you want to do is line this up to where you actually see a little bit of the color on the other side of the ruler. That way you are ensuring that you are cutting away all of the white. There will be no white left on, once you cut it off, because you'll think that you're really close to the edge, and that little gap where there's no ink, there's no gas there, it's going to show up on your tumbler. It's not going to cause ghosting, but you're going to have a white line, which, wait, I'll show you this one. Is it this one? No, I think I gave it to them already. I have one, and it had a slight opening, like white opening in the back. So you want to make sure that you see a little bit of color, and we're just going to cut down. Having a sharp blade, definitely a key thing. You don't want to have to kind of keep doing it, and if it's not too sharp, it'll probably fray your paper. So make sure that these cost little to nothing, whether you have this style, or if you have a rotary cutter, or if you have this style. I buy the blades like this from Amazon, and yeah, it's just not worth it to not have quality supplies. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do the same thing to this one. And I said we want to see a little bit of the design. To make sure that we don't have any white. Okay. Next year, You're gonna wait all the way until next year to do tumblers? I understand it was a grad tumbler, but you can always, and you know, especially now the summer's coming up, we should be pushing tumblers heavy. If you're somewhere where it gets really hot, you should really be pushing tumblers. She's I can never cut a straight line no matter what I do. The rotary color definitely helps. The ruler and the rotary color definitely helps. So I don't really wipe down my tumblers either. I try not to take them out until I'm ready to actually use them. If anything, I will wipe them down with a microfiber towel. If they've been like sitting outside the plastic, but the way these are made, they are absolutely amazing. So I don't really do anything to them. Like if I happen to see something on it, I'll use my microfiber towel and like wipe them down, but I don't use alcohol or anything like that when I'm doing my Johnson's Plastics tumblers are absolutely amazing. You really can eliminate that step. You don't have to do a whole lot with it. So one of the reasons why I like, so on this one, of course, I had to cut it because it was two 11 by 17s together. But normally when it's on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, I cut down that one side. I don't recommend cutting your top and bottom because that's going to help you line it up. Now, I did just see like a video where they turned it over. You know, you're going to put it on a mat. So it was a TikTok video or something like that. And so they were like, mark on one side. I don't know why. Just put it. If you're doing this, everyone should have some sort of cutting mat, some type of ruler. So if you just kind of line your print up, put your ruler down, and then make a mark across. So I saw a TikTok, was it TikTok or some video where they were doing that. I mean, you can, I'm looking for a pencil over here. You can definitely, do that method if you feel like that will help you. I typically do not. And this pencil is not really, let's see, can I still get a straight line on this? Nope. Dang it. Oh, wait. Yeah, I did. Okay, there we go. So you can use that line to line it up once you flip it. And I don't like to really put my print face down because you can get imperfections. There's nothing on your tumbler. And because you put it on a surface, you did make sure that it was clean. You can get dust and debris on this. But typically, I don't cut the top and bottom edges when I'm doing on 8.5 by 11, or if I'm doing it and I split the 11 by 17, whichever was the true edge is the side that I use. So in this case, it was on the bottom. This is the true edge. So I'm going to put this down to the bottom. On the other one, I believe it was the top. Yeah, well, actually, because I rotated it, it might still be the bottom, but we're just going to go like this. The side that you cut is what touches your tumbler. The side that you cut is what touches your tumbler. You're going to go ahead and wrap this around, and then you can line up from that line, or you can line it up from the top and bottom. So I typically go off of mine because I did not cut it. I make sure that that's lined up, and look, that lined up there as well. So once I have it, I like to twist it in my hand just to make sure that it is nice and flat. And I like the paper is not rippling. Having one of these is a godsend. Either this or just some type of tape dispenser where you can basically work with one hand and keep your tumbler gripped in your hand and then just take your tape off. So whether it's to pull it and do it that way, if you want to pre-cut your tape, but this and the fact that it pre-cuts it pre-cuts it, it's absolutely amazing for this. So we're just going to turn this. I'm going to take a piece off. The heck, why is my tape bending? And we're going to put that in the middle. Okay. So you want it to be, of course, going over both evenly, or just sometimes it's more on this side because as I'm putting it down, I'm actually pulling. That's, also like just pulling the paper closer to the other side. Shakia, seriously, I meant to take that piece off. And then we want to put a piece in the middle. of those, like, so between the middle and the bottom and the middle and the top. So for me, because I use 1-inch heat tape, I have a total of 5 pieces of tape. If I was using 1/2 inch, I would have a few more, but I don't do the whole put them really close together. That just takes up a lot of time and a lot of tape. So I basically just kind of create a stitch, what I like to call a stitch on it. Okay. Thank you guys for liking the video and sharing it. I see the numbers are going up, so continue to share it. Continue to give to tap that heart button, that like button. That helps the algorithm. Give the video a thumbs up if you're watching it over on YouTube, and tag a friend. All right. So I'm going to push this up until I see the design. Okay. All right. And I like to trim. Now is where I'm going to trim it, which, dang it, I forgot to bring scissors over here. All right. So I am not going to trim into the design. I'm going to trim into the white. It's just because I don't like to have a lot of extra on, like extra paper to fold over. So we're just going to trim the extra paper away. And then I'm going to kind of take my hand and go, and like I'm turning it to keep it nice and straight along that edge. But you have no choice but to crinkle this paper at the top. But I try and make sure along the edge, it's nice and smooth. So my hand goes around it and I'm pushing up and I just kind of tuck that in. That's just so that I can lay it flat. Oh, I forgot one big important step. Haha. My seam here. So I'm going to take my squeegee, put that underneath so that it just kind of creates, so it doesn't move all over the place. I'm going to take my painter's tape and put it across the seam, going 1/2 and 1/2 over the seam. And normally my tape is a little bit thicker. I'm going to do another one only because I'm so used to technically using a thicker painter's tape. I probably don't need the extra one. I'm just paranoid right now because I'm used to using one that's thicker. Then we're just going to go over this with our squeegee, or some people use their nails. Professor don't have nails. Okay. Then I'm going to put it down and I'm going to go around the edge. So like right before it touches, like I don't want it above, like I want it on the edge of the tumbler. And I'm just using that to really keep that, like the paper tight around my top and bottom edges. Really trying to keep that gas from escaping. I don't worry about air getting in. I must say, I despise when people say you're trying to avoid air getting in. Air getting in has nothing to do with it. Sublimation is all about gases. So you're trying to prevent the gas from getting out. You don't want air pockets so the gas doesn't get out. Has nothing to do with air getting in. All right. So now we're going to trim this down as well. Again, I do not cut into the design. I do not cut into the design. Reason for that is so that once it's on the tumbler, I can have, well, this one kind of is a little bit off, but I like to have a cleaner line around the bottom. So I don't kind of like make it to where it's all jagged and stuff. Okay. So same thing. We're just going to go around it just so that it kind of creates that crease. And I'm going slow. The next one, I'm going to go in real time and you're going to see how long it takes to do this once you become comfortable with the process. So this one I'm teaching, that one I'm going to just do it and you'll see it in real time. So I'm just going to kind of go around this just to make sure that it's nice and creased. I actually should put my tape up a little bit higher. Now, painter's tape will, especially the Dollar Tree one, it will leave a sticky residue on your tumbler. So in order to seal these ends, I am going to use heat tape. Okay. I am going to use heat tape for the top so that I can actually touch the edge of, I can actually touch the, what's this? What is this? Oh, their coating on this was like, it looks so weird. It's like little bubbles on the bottom. Ooh, that looks weird. So I'm going to put the heat tape here. I'm going to put about, this is a 2-inch tape. So I'm going to put about a 1/2 inch on, I mean, an inch on the tumbler, an inch above. All right, so I saw a really good question, and here's a good time to show why. So Tim asked, how come you don't use heat tape, right? So when I'm doing, I use the heat tape here just to stitch it and keep it down. And if anybody was on my TikTok last night, you'll see like when you rip it off, and which I might do that one with the heat tape and with the masking tape, it doesn't come off as easy once it's time to rip it off. Like you have to play around because it's masking tape, but I'll use the heat tape here. But the heat tape for me, I found that because it's so thin, when I'm trying to put it down, I just feel like it's not like a good, it's not creating like a good seal. So I found that the painter's tape just worked better, even better than using masking tape, because it can, you know, bunch up, and I'm not sure if you can see the ridge that can cause an air gap, where there's going to be a certain part of it where it's just simply not tight. So I prefer to go over my seam with a tape that I know is going to be nice and smooth, and painter's tape just gives me that really smooth feel on my seam. Okay. All right. So now we're going to, which actually there's a lot of paper left on the bottom. I think I didn't have it up high enough, but it's okay. I don't really typically like this much paper still left, but that's okay. So I'm just going to go around it, and I'm pulling the tape up to pull the paper closer to my tumbler, like make sure it's nice and tight. And this finger is actually pushing the tape down on. So as I'm rotating and pulling it, this one is pushing the tape onto the tumbler to basically create that seal. Or you can do it this way also, where I'm taking my thumb going up the side to make sure that it's smooth, and I'm going around. Okay. All right. And we're going to do the same thing on this side with it going over. Last night I realized I did it and I didn't have any issues. So this part, I really want to make sure it's tight because I get more ghosting here. The top with it going and it's nice and flat, I should be able to just get away with using the heat tape. It worked out well last night. I'm used to putting it around it, but hey, that saves on time and it also saves on resources. So I'm not going to put any painter's tape at the top. We're simply just going to use the heat tape for this one. Hopefully it don't come back to haunt me, because like that can create, it can inadvertently create an air gap because it's not smooth. But I'm gonna, you know, pull it up. That's gonna help make it smooth out a little bit as well. And then when we're going around, I'm just taking my thumb and just going up and in, up and in, up and in. You can actually do both sides at the same time. All right, now that this one's done, I'm going to turn on the oven. All right, so we're going to do this one in real time, okay? Not going to talk through this one too much. I'm going to do it as if I was here by myself just doing my orders. Before I do that, so let's see. I know it's quite a few of you guys on. I'm pretty sure some of you guys have watched before. Let's do a little pop quiz. What size do I make my template for 20-ounce tumblers. Let's see who pays attention when I'm live, because I've done this a million one times. So what size template do I use? Pop quiz. All right. I see some people use that. I just feel like it's not necessary. You can also use this. So I showed that once before, where your tape will actually kind of hold that in place too. Exactly. There we go. 9.35 by 8.15. 9.35 by 8.15. It gives you just enough overlap on the sides and just a little bit of overhang on the top and bottom to make sure that it goes to the top and bottom and you don't have any white lines. Good job, Kelly. Okay, so we're going to take the top off of this one, and let's see, it is 402. Actually, 403. It just changed, so I'm going to say 403. Mm. Three minutes is what it took for me to wrap this. So not including cutting it the first time, 3 minutes for the actual wrap process. All right, so I'm going to answer a few questions because I don't think my oven is up to temperature just quite yet. So my oven is currently set to 350 degrees. You think it's painted? Wait, You think painter's tape will be okay in my press? I don't know. I know you don't use one. Yes, so it will work because you're not touching, like, if the ink, not the ink, the adhesive doesn't like spew out like that. Um, it's not on the tumbler. So yes, even if you're using a mug press or a tumbler press, I still recommend doing the stitching, putting the painter's tape along the seam, and also putting the painter's tape along the top and bottom edges, and then just go ahead and pressing it. All right. Any other questions before these go in the oven? I'm just waiting. I'm going to give it a little minute, which, I mean, I really can put it in there now. I really don't have to preheat it, but I'm going to let it, just slightly get up to temperature. But I actually really can put it in there and still do 4 minutes. So I think that's what we're going to do. All right, let's see. Let's try it. I'm going to let you guys see where I'm going to put this at. Oh, it won't let me zoom in. Okay. I put them open side down. Oh, it's actually done. I'm just going to put the timer on 4 minutes and start. And there we go. Yes. So it's not really that anything is different, but because Mac updated and with their update, how you actually put the driver or how you set the driver is a little bit different. I did do a new video with that. Not answering anything that's not related to tumblers or just summation. So while that's going, I have to fix some tumblers from last night that did not get the thing didn't print on there, the school name. So I'm going to put it on there with vinyl. So this I'm going to just wipe down. Yes, you can put them inside of your oven. Now, whether you choose to do so or not, that is totally up to you, but it can be done. Now, if you feel like it's not safe for you, then by all means, don't do it. But I know how sublimation works. I understand what the risks are, and I understand that there is no risk. There's nothing toxic. There's nothing toxic about the fumes. It's not gas fumes. A gas is a couple, oxygen is a gas. Oxygen doesn't kill you. You need oxygen. So when people say it turns into a gas, I'm like, it's not turning into any gas that's on the periodic table. It is going through a gas state where it just avoids the liquid state. That's all it means by going through a gaseous state. It's not a gas that's on the periodic table. So I know that there's nothing toxic. I'm not using anything that's going to emit any toxic fumes. Heat tape is meant to be heated. I'm actually even at a lower temperature than what, the highest temperature for this heat tape is. I'm only at 350 degrees. And then with the painter's tape, that also can be heated as well. So I'm not using anything that is going to be harmful to myself or my family. I don't know why I just did 3 of these. I only needed 2. We have about 13 seconds left. Shit, just dropped my whole cutting thing off my guillotine cutter off of the countertop. All right, so now that that's down, let's go ahead and get our tumblers out the oven. So here's another reason why I don't like to use just heat tape. When it gets heated up, it does release. So one of the reasons why I like using my wide one is it normally covers up the heat tape. So when I use just heat tape, because I'm not doing a whole lot of overlapping, like you can see right here where it started to lift a little bit. So just using that, you might get ghosting because your heat tape is going to lift. Actually, I'll show you on this one. Whoa. See? So imagine if that painter's tape wasn't there, that could lift and air, well, it can leave an air gap and gas can get out. So this is another reason why I like to use a tape that's not going to lift. No, I personally don't use any shrink wrap. Thank you. So we have kept them and drank out of them ourselves, even if it's somebody else's picture on them. I have burned off. I did a video on that where I put it in the oven. I burned off the design and put something darker over it. And that's still one to where I wouldn't necessarily like sell that at full price because you can still somewhat see the design through it. I've also burned it off and then put a eco solvent wrap. So I have a print I can print with adhesive vinyl. So I have printed those and I've wrapped it that way, and I've just given some away. So if it's like just like a generic design, I'll just give them away. Yes, it was actually very recently. I just did the MAC one about maybe 2 weeks ago. All right, so this one is the one that originally messed up. So let's do that one first, because hopefully it did not ghost on the seams again. Ooh, okay. Okay, so, oh, I didn't use masking tape on this. I meant to use masking tape on the seam of this one, and I forgot to. So I want you to see how tough it is for it to come off, but that's okay. So see, when I rip that off, The heat tape normally comes with it. This one wanted to be stubborn. So we're just going to take that one off, but it's ready to be revealed. Uh-oh. Can you guys still hear me? Because my computer went off. Big difference. I mean, everything else is the same. It's just the seam. Lower temp. This isn't even hot to the touch anymore. All right, let's pray this one came out good because this is the one where I did not tape the top portion. So let's hope that we did not get any ghosting. So I just kind of grabbed the blue tape and, come on. Wanted to act all funky on me. Normally I kind of do one little strip rip and it comes loose. All right. It came out perfect. I mean, you can somewhat, okay, y'all. Look, okay, wait, look. It's like her shoulder wraps and it continues. So I end up designing it to where I had that on that side. So it like, I just hate the fact I should have did it to this part. I mean, you can see where the color overlaps here, which kind of sucks. But look, it looks like, okay, so where's this one? So with this one, it's a cutoff, right? This one, it wraps around. It's a smooth transition. Oh my God. Big difference. I was like, let me do that one on this one. Look at it. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. So this one has some of her prom pictures. And then this was the first day of senior year. And I feel like her face just looks so different from the first. She looks like a little baby face compared to her senior pictures and her prom pictures. So for hers, I added her first day of senior year and then some other pictures to it. But everybody else got this style. All right, so we're going to shake this off. Let me grab, I found my weeding tool. Although I don't really want this one. I wanted the thinner one, but I do have a weeding tool here. What temp did I put my oven on? Anyone wants to answer what temp and time do I use? So someone else is asking. So another pop quiz. Yep, 350 for 4 minutes, but I'm using a regular oven. So it's on the conventional setting. It's not a convection setting on there, just a regular oven, regular heat. It's 350, 4 minutes. If I was using a convection oven, let's see who's paid attention, who's been around for a while. If I was using a smaller tabletop or countertop convection oven like the Oster XL, what would I use? What temp and time do I use? And what I'm doing here is basically, it might be call it reverse weeding. I put it on here and I'm just weeding it on the substrate because this is printable vinyl. It is really, really thin and it comes up sometimes. So, and I put weed lines on this to make sure that it didn't lift. Because last night, oh, we had a time last night messing around with this tumbler. So anywhere from I can use 350. So anywhere from 350, 365 is, preferable if your oven allows you to, but anywhere from 350 to 375. Now certain colors, I mean these were technically done probably at 3 minutes because I've done 3-minute tumblers. So you can do 350, 375, and I leave it in there. If it's preheated, pretty much the same thing, 4 minutes. But I don't preheat, so I'll leave it in there for like 5 minutes, 5.5 minutes. Ooh, never that. Ooh, no. We don't know what 400 is around here. We never, ever, ever use 400 degrees when using honestly speaking sublimation paper. Nope, never, ever, ever have I used 400. I have not. None of my ovens, heat presses, anything other, actually, even when I do demos, I refuse to do 400. In 2 years, I have never been anywhere near 400 degrees. Yes, I'm doing HTV because when I did this design yesterday, so I don't even know where it's at. It printed weird or whatever. So I had to go in and adjust the design. And when I adjusted the design, the words got sent to the back of the layer and behind everything else. So it didn't actually print. So rather than reprint reprint all 8 tumblers, I simply I just use vinyl. I mean, use a little scrap piece of vinyl, take a little bit more time to kind of do this, but I didn't have to really waste a whole print and, wasting paper and ink. So I decided to just do it with vinyl. But I've done that before too. So like, let's say like I just make ones like this, I'll go in and I'll put vinyl on this. Like if somebody wants this to be personalized because I just made it as just a solid one, I've done solid color ones and I've gone in and someone will have a saying or something put on it. So I've done that on other ones as well. But with this particular one, I didn't intend to. It happened because, like I said, the words end up going to the back of the layer when I went to go fix it. Like if I want, especially when I've done some where I wanted more of like a metallic look, or I wanted to use like glitter vinyl or like a metallic vinyl, I have added vinyl to solid color or tumblers or designs or even mugs that just had a regular print to it, like a solid pattern or print. All right. So I'm going to heat seal that in a moment just to make sure it's down and well, heat cure. Now, I keep saying heat seal. I meant to say heat cure. Thank you. Whoever this is not a general Q&A. I'm not answering any silhouette questions right now because I can't even do it because I don't even have silhouette open. Do I have to always reverse weave? No, I end up using Orajet for this one. I typically don't use this particular vinyl for cutting out like letters and stuff. It's my printable vinyl, and normally it's like a solid one. I don't do small ones and intricate cuts with it. So this is a little bit different. If it was 651, I would pre-weed it and then put it on there. Shakia, I sub at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. I've been waiting to purchase your paper, but I don't see that it comes on the roll. So we normally have it. We are sold out. It actually moved fairly slow. So we were kind of like waiting to order, and then like now it seems like there is a demand for it now that it's not here. When we had it, it was moving slow. Now that we don't have it, everyone's always asking for it. So now that I'm done with graduation stuff, I will be posting a pre-sale for it. It is going to take a while for it to get in, which is why like the pre-sale will have it at a slight discounted price, but we will have it available for pre-sale. And once we close that off, you'll have to just wait for it to come in, and then it'll be regular price. I'm looking to put that up no later than the end of this week. I'm going to try and get it done within like the next couple of days, because after the 8th, I'm telling y'all, I'm going to be an emotional wreck. May not function very well. So hopefully I can get that put up in the next couple of days for the F570. And this time we're going to have the tacky paper as well as the fast dry, because quite a few people asked us for the fast dry as well. So that's what's left on there. The rolls of sublimation paper. All right. So I'm going to just do this last one, and then we're going to get off of here. This is just extra and bonus because, like I said, it did not print last night. So I have to do this little correction. Dang it, it went down at an angle. Any other questions in regards to our products, sublimation tumblers? Feel free to go ahead and ask. I cannot really answer anything related to Silhouette Studio. I'm not at the computer. I'm in a different location. I won't be going to the computer. You have to wait for our general Q&A on tomorrow. Or you can always post the question in our Facebook group, Honestly Speaking, or Silhouettes Anonymous, Silhouette Help with Shakia the Professor. So make sure you guys are utilizing the groups, the Facebook groups. Again, these are tumblers from Johnson's Plastics Plus, jpplus.com. Right now, they will be $6.16 when you use the code 9PKD6. 9PKD6. So it's going to ship from the US. So they've already brought them in from overseas. It's going to ship from the US. When you order it on their site, so you'll get it in a few days. If you're eligible for free shipping, it comes via UPS ground. So of course that's like snail mail. It'll take a little minute for it to get to you. I ordered 6 cases, so mine is coming via a freight company. I just ordered 6 more cases today, and some stainless steel ones. So 9PKD6 is the code to receive 15% off. And they have all sorts of sublimation items. If you have a glow forge, they have acrylic there. If you want to create your own sublimation blanks because you have a glow forge or any other laser cutter like the Thunder or the Muse or any of those, they sell the Unisub boards. They sell the MDF ones, so definitely check them out. And they also have things for like laser engraving. So they have the powder coated tumblers for laser engraving, or you can use it for if you do glitter tumblers and things like that. The code works for everything on their site except for printers and heat presses. So 9PKD6. Even if you decide you want to go on there and order an F570 or a heat press, still put the code in so that we get credit for the sale. That definitely helps and keeps us to where we're able to do live and free content such as this. This was a whole class. Can we agree that this was a whole master class on tumblers? If you're able to follow along with what I did, and now you're getting like a little bonus to where if you mess something up, even when you have like ghosted ones, right? If you are able to, and you match like let's say you want it to now look like it meant to have the line around it, if it's at the top, put a piece of like vinyl at the top around the side, and maybe figure out something like you can do on the seam with vinyl. So you can use vinyl to salvage those ones that have ghosted as well. Like just regular plain vinyl. Maybe put someone's name. If it was a design that was just a background, maybe put someone's name over the seam so it doesn't look, it doesn't stand out so much. Especially if you're able to cover the entire thing up. All right, so now I am going to heat set this or heat cure it. I just want it to set. I'm going to give it to them normally. If I had to put vinyl on something, I finish it within, we're still having these 24 hours. And that way it can cure on its own naturally and really bond to the substrate. But because this is going to them today, I'm going to use my heat gun to just use some heat and heat cure this so that it doesn't move. Be careful with doing this because that is direct heat. And of course, sublimation, the polyester pores will open back up and sublimation will go through sublimation again. So you can lose some of your sublimation color. So be careful with doing this method and do just enough to really get the vinyl kind of warmed up to push into the tumbler. Don't put it too close. Don't leave it in one spot too long. I just get it, just hot enough to just push it into the tumbler to just heat cure it and just kind of set it in. You can also leave, if you have like the one I just used, the season one, I wouldn't do that one. But if I had my clear one, you can leave the clear tape, the clear mask transfer tape over it, and just let them know to remove that, to wash it after, let that sit on there for 24, 48 hours if you want to do it that way. But normally I'm finishing up my tumblers where I have time to allow it to cure before it's given to the customer and or shipped. But in this case, it's going to them today, so I had to do that. All right. Thank you for my first watch tutorial. Looking forward to seeing more. Good night. Oh wow, you're watching from the UK. Well, thank you for watching and good night. Yes, 9PKD6. And this vinyl is at permanent adhesive vinyl. It is actually Orajet 650, not 651, Jesus. It's Orajet printable media. I forget the number for this one. It's what I print yard signs and stuff on with my Roland. I picked up the wrong one last night when I was taking the roll from the vinyl, and I just used this, but you can use regular 651 also. And no, when vinyl is meant to be permanent, so as long as you don't have like really thin areas, I do not seal. I can't stand epoxy, and Mod Podge does absolutely nothing. Spray sealers does absolutely nothing to truly seal in. You have to put a full layer of epoxy over it to encapsulate it, and I don't work with epoxy at all. So no, I don't seal anything. Permanent vinyl isn't meant to need sealing. Oh, you have a Glowforge Plus? Yeah, you can get items from there. Like they have flasks, they have acrylic, like they have like cups and things like that. They have award thingy, like they have all wood, like wood trays and stuff. Like they have all types of things for engraving, and they also have sublimation stuff. They sell heat presses, they sell printers. So if you're in the market for an F570, they have them on that website as well. You are very welcome. You are welcome. You are welcome. And of course, don't forget to visit our website. So these were all printed with, honestly speaking, sublimation ink and paper. These were printed with an Epson 7210, which is a workforce printer that uses pigment ink, so the colors come out great. Eco tanks can sometimes be a little because of how it's not about the brand of ink. No matter which brand of sublimation ink you use when you're using an Eco Tank printer, for certain colors, they're going to be a little bit off just because of how it's made. But of course, you can use our sublimation ink as well as our sublimation paper. For tumblers, 20-ounce tumbler, you can use a 8.5 by 11. One of the next ones that I'm going to do, I'm going to show you what happens like if you only have a small format printer and you need to basically tape 2 sheets together to wrap a tumbler. I'm going to show you guys how to do that, not today, but that's one of the live sessions that's going to be coming up real soon. But we carry 8.5 by 11, 8.5 by 14, 11 by 17, 13 by 19, and fast dry and tacky. We are diehard Heat fans, so there is a Heat game tomorrow. If the Heat win tomorrow, I misspoke last night. I said today, but if the Heat win tomorrow, then 8.5 by 14, 11 by 17, and the ink for the Eco Tank printers will be available at discount. So every time the Heat win, go back and check our website because classes and certain products will be on discount. Okay. Thank you guys so much. All right, y'all. No other questions. Until next time, guys. Have a great one. Continue to unlock your creativity and be incredible. Peace.